Well, now, don't stare too long into all that black. That ain't empty space. And it stares back if you give it half a chance. Trust me. I watch good folks lock eyes with it and come back wrong. They settle in. You look Pete, friend, traveling to the ragged edge of everything would do that long road from your bright little world to my dark one. Most never find a path, the ones who do usually got sense enough not to knock. But here you are, old Cade's mighty glad gets powerful quiet out here. So quiet you start forgetting what a heartbeat sounds like. What blood feels like running hot instead of just remembered here. Which it wasn't first. Vintage smoother than Sunday morning. Bite enough to remind you you're still breathing, drink deep. Don't be shy. I spent eons out here archiving every pulse, every war, every whispered prayer and broken vow from your universe. Libraries of screens, catalogs of kisses, every betrayal filed neat. But a real living there, warm blood still pumping. Posted ain't echoed as rare vintage can be. Stay long as you like hell. I might keep you forever if I could. Just to keep the shadows company. You want a story? A real one? Not the watered down schoolyard track. Not bedtime fairy tales, I'm talking truth that bleeds, truth that scars your soul just hair. And let me tell you about the first monster. Not the kind with scales of wounds. Oh, this one's got fangs, I'm talking monster born of broken hearts and a brother's spite. They crawl from the womb already screaming, teeth with. Let me tell you how the vampire came to be. Now before we reach the blood and the teeth and all that good gory business, we gotta talk about family. Folks love saying blood is thicker than water, like that's supposed to mean something noble. They forget the rest of that saying, don't they? That blood clots a whole lot easier. It stagnates, it festers, it turns black and rotten if you let it sit too long in one place, brooding on old wounds and new jealousy. There's a rot that settles into the bones of a house when one soul starts looking sideways at what the others got. Most folks call it greed. Some call it envy. Preacher man wrap it in scripture and call it covetousness. Out here at the edge of the dark, I just call the shit what it is. It ain't just one thing, neighbor, any fool can want. No. Oh, this is deeper, darker. It's one the thing badly just because it belongs to someone else. It's the weakest satisfaction of taking the light out of a brother's eyes just so you can see by it for everybody else so your own joy tastes a little sweeter. Here's a truth for your friend. One of them heady ones you can feel settling in the pit of your stomach like a cold stone. The deepest wounds don't come from your enemies. They come from the people who know exactly where your heart is hidden. 'Cause they share the same blood. They grew up in the same house. They know all your soft spots, all the places you bruise easy. And when they decide to hurt you, they know exactly where to stick the knife. Zeus and Hades, brothers, born from the womb of time itself, from chaos and darkness before names or language even existed. They should have been two halves of a whole, sky and underworld, light balance and shadow, day holding hands or night. But Zeus, Zeus couldn't enjoy his own sunshine if he knew Hades was finding even a sliver of warmth in the shadow. Hades, the big brother of the dark, lord of the dead, keeper of souls, he did something nobody expected. He fell hard. Now, Hades weren't like the rest of them shiny gods up on the mountain with their golden robes and perfect faces and endless parties celebrating their own greatness. No. Hades was somber, quiet, still like a deep well that goes down and down into the earth till you can't see the bottom no more. He spent his days down in the underworld, tending to the dead, sorting souls, keeping the balance between life and death, light and shadow. It was lonely work, the kind that wears on you, grinds you down till you forget what it feels like to feel anything at all. Then he met Alphany. She was a mortal woman, just a human fragile as spun glass with a lifespan that barely registered on the cosmic calendar. A friend? She had a soul that shone, bright and warm, like a lung campfire burning at the bottom of a canyon on a cold, clear night. Kind of light that draws you in even when you know you shouldn't get too close. The kind that makes you remember what it felt like to be alive. Hades loved her something fierce. Loved her in a way guys ain't supposed to love mortals. Quiet and deep and true. Not that flashy, but form of the love Zeus threw around like confetti. This was real, and she loved him back. One night, Hades brought her up to Olympus for a feast. One of them big glittering affairs where all the gods gather to drink nectar and brag about their exploits and pretend they ain't got the same petty jealousies as the mortals they look down on. I sing it in the archives, frame, watched it play out frame by frame like a tragedy that don't yet know its doom. Hades walked in there holding my hand like she was the most fragile, precious thing in all existence. Like if he let go for even a second, she might shatter. And the way he looked at her, he looked happy. leaves all your soft parts exposed to the world. And Alchemy, she looked back at him with a love so thick and warm you could damn near cut it with a knife. Her eyes shone. Her smile was real. She didn't care that she was surrounded by immortals who could crush her with a thought. She only had eyes for him. But Zeus, old friend, Zeus porch. Big brother lightning bolt, king of kings, lord of everything. He saw the way they held each other, saw the way Alchemy leaned into Hades like he was the only solid thing in the world made of smoke. Saw the quiet joy on his brother's face, the kind of joy Zeus himself had never felt, because he'd never let himself be vulnerable enough to feel it. And it rotted his heart right then and there. See, Zeus didn't want her because she was beautiful, though she surely was. He didn't want her because she was special, though she was that too. He wanted her because she belonged to Hades. He wanted her because he was a petty, spiteful, jealous little man wearing a god's crown. See, Zeus never did like sharing his toys, and if somebody else had something he didn't, well, you just have to take it from them, just to prove he could, even if he broke that person in the process, especially if it broke them. Zeus loved many women, friend many women, mortals, nymphs, goddesses. He loved them all. But you know what kind he loved most? The spoken for ones, the ones that belong to somebody else. Cause taking what ain't yours, that's the sweetest conquest of all. Any fool can seduce a willing woman, but to take another man's wife, another God's beloved, to look your own brother in the eye afterward and know what you've done to him. Yeah, that's power. A venomous snake if I ever seen one. Beautiful scale, sure, all gold and lightning, but underneath, pure poison. Some people would rather reign over a pile of ash than walk through a garden that ain't theirs. They burn the whole world down just to be king of the sinners. And that's where the tragedy starts. Not with a bite, not with blood, or with a look. fair. He never did. When you're a god, when you got the kind of power that can reshape reality with a thought, you don't need to play fair. You just take what you want and call it divine right. So he waited, patient as a spider in his web, patient as poison working slow through the veins. He waited till Hades was back down in the underworld, deep in the pits, tinkling to the endless flood of soul that come marching through his beats every single day. And then Zeus made his move. He came to outman it like a thief in the night, drifted down from Olympus on a cloud of divine light, all charm and smiles and honeyed words. But Zeus didn't seduce her with poetry. He didn't woo her with gifts or promises. No, he had something better, something more insidious. He had a love mist. Now I know what you're thinking. Love mist sounds like some kind of romantic nonsense, don't it? Like something out of a fairy tale. But friend, let me tell you, this wasn't no fairy tale. The love mist is a divine narcotic, a drug that seeps into your mind and blurs all the edges of who you are and what you want, and makes you forget yourself, forget your loyalties, forget the person you love. It clouds your thoughts till you can't tell the difference between desire and compulsion, between choice and surrender. Zeus wrapped out many in their mist like a shroud, and in our haze, confused, disoriented, while not quite our own. She gave in. She got in that fog that maybe used the man she loved. Maybe convinced her for just long enough that this was what she wanted. Either way, Zeus got what it came for. Fog cleared, when the mist burned away and reality came crashing back in. Out when they woke up like a woman climbing out of the worst nightmare of her life. And the horror of what had happened settled over her like ice water poured slow down her spine. She'd been used, violated, stolen from the man she loved by his own brother. And worse, old friend, so much worse. She realized she was carrying a souvenir of that betrayal. A child. Zeus's child. The demigod growing inside her, a constant kicking reminder of her violation. A boy who would one day be called a hero, Hercules. But the Hades, when Hades came back from the underworld and saw her, saw the shame burning in her eyes, the swell of her belly, the way she couldn't meet his gaze, he knew. He didn't need her to say a word. She could see it written all over her, plain as day on stone. His brother had taken her, and Hades went cold. Colder than a blue norther blowing down from Canada in the dead of January. Colder than the darkest pit of Tartarus. He didn't yell, didn't rage, didn't break things or call down curses. He just stopped looking at her, gave her the cold shoulder, let the silence stretch out between them. Long and bitter was suffocating, to the ring out louder than any scream could ever hope to. For months, she carried that child under the weight of Hades' silence. And the man she loved couldn't even look at her. It was a long, bitter winter in the house of the dead. Time is a funny thing, ain't it? Wounds that feel like they'll never heal, sometimes they do. Scars fade. Hearts that were shattered find a way to piece themselves back together, even if the cracks still show through everything. Eventually the ice between Hades and Alkmain started to thaw. After Hercules was born, after the worst of the hurt had dulled down to a manageable ache, they found a way back to each other. It wasn't the same love they had before. It couldn't be. Too much damage, too much betrayal. They reconciled. They tried again, and soon enough Alkmain was carrying again. This time it was Hades' own blood, his son, the true prince of the underworld. For a moment, just a breath, just a heartbeat, it seemed like maybe they could make this work. Maybe love could survive betrayal. Maybe they could build something new from the wreckage. But got Lightning King, Zeus had already planted a seed. See, Alkmain couldn't stop thinking about him, about Zeus, about the way he made her feel, even if that feeling had been manufactured, twisted, forced upon her through divine manipulation. She started missing the spark, her rush, the power that radiated off Zeus like he off the sun. Hades was steady, reliable, safe. The safety started to feel like a cage in Zeus. Zeus was dangerous, thrilling, unpredictable. So she made a choice, friend. A terrible, heartbreaking choice. She left Hades, walked right on and prayed to his child, and then back to Zeus, of her own free will this time. No mist, no compulsion, just her. Choosing the man he violated over the man who loved her. Can you imagine that? The kind of pain it causes. Hades had forgiven her once, taken her back after Zeus's betrayal. Tried to rebuild what they had, and she repaid him by leaving for Zeus. For Zeus. the gates of Olympus. She was climbing the steps up to the mountain, heading back to Zeus, when Hades materialized in front of her like a shadow coming to life. He was shaking, trembling with a rage so deep and so old it could have leveled 6. Could have cracked the earth open and swallowed the world whole. His eyes burned, never fire. Gods don't need fire. They burn with something colder, something that freezes you from the inside out. And Alcmene looked up at him, her face pale, her hands clutching her swollen belly. She knew. She knew she'd gone too far this time. Hades grabbed her by the throat, his fingers dug in deep. Not enough to kill her, not yet, but enough to make her gasp, enough to make her lungs burn and her vision blur. And then he looked up toward Olympus, where Zeus was standing on a cloud, looking down at the whole scene like it was a play performed for his amusement. Alchemy's eyes found Zeus too. She reached out toward him, her face desperate, her eyes pleading for him to save her, to protect her, to be the hero she thought he was, and Zeus. Zeus gave a little smile, just a tiny curve of lips. Like it just heard a joke, only he understood. And then he turned his back. Walked away like she was yesterday's trash. Like she served her purpose and now she was disposable. Left her there to die at his brother's hand. A hiss in her ear, low and venomous. I loved you. His grip tightened. And now, no one will ever be with you again. Alchemy tried to speak, tried to choke out the words, the one thing that might save her. Carrying your child. But Hades didn't believe her. He thought it was another one of Zeus's bastards. Another reminder of his brother's betrayal growing inside the woman he loved, so he hissed back, "Curse you." And cursed that bastard. And he squeezed. The life went out of her eyes, slow at first and all at once, like a candle snuffed out by a cold wind. Her body went limp in his hands. And as she fell, as her body hit the cold stone steps, it tore open. Out crawled Draco. Not born, crawled. A twisted, bloody thing. Half god, half human, and cursed down to his very bones. He had his daddy's fangs, long curved sabers of bone meant for rending flesh. The kind Hades' own teeth became when the god rage took hold. Draco was a creature caught between two worlds. His mama's human genes warring against his daddy's divine hate. A walking contradiction. A living curse. Now, friend, let me explain something to you about the nature of vampirism. Cause it ain't what you think it is. It ain't some romantic immortal gift. It ain't some superpower that makes you beautiful and dangerous and irresistible. Vampirism is a war, a never-ending, brutal, internal war. Draco's guy outside. The part of him that came from Hades is still trying to kill his human side. The part that came from Outman. Hades' rage didn't die with her. It lives on the side Draco, burning like a divine fire that never goes out. And that rage looks at the human card of Draco and sees out me. Sees the woman who betrayed him. The woman he loved and lost can kill. So he tries to destroy it every single day. The confrontation between Hades and Outman getting in when she died, friend. It continues inside their song. An eternal battle. God versus mortal. Rage versus humanity. Draco don't drink blood, human blood, his God's side will win. It'll burn through his humanity like fire through dry kindling. And when there's nothing left, he'll die. Cause you can't be half God, half human if the human half is gone. It's just nothing. So Draco bites. He hunts. He drinks. Not because he wants to, but because he has to. He feeds on human blood to keep the human part of himself alive. To hold back the God fire that's always burning, always consuming. I always try and finish what Hades started. And when he bites on, he passes on a piece of that curse. Fragment of Hades' rage. Get into that blood, and it starts the same war in Sabbath. The divine fury looks at their humanity and mistakes of Outman. And it tries to kill it. So they gotta drain blood too. Gotta fight the same fight every night forever. It's a curse that spreads like a disease. A hatred so deep it outlived the people who felt it and became something else entirely. Something contagious. Poor Draco. Raised himself in the dark, eating whatever crawled too close. A god who has to beg for his life every single night. A prince of the underworld who never asked to be born, cursed by a father who didn't even know he was his father. That's the first vampire, friend. Not a monster by choice. A monster by birth. A living reminder that the deepest wounds are the ones inflicted by the people we love. I'm not supposed to get involved, but I just can't help myself.
Wine spills, glass breaks. This ain't a drill, I'm the risk you take. I love hard, with my body, not my heart. Cold iron chain, warned you from the start. Your pulse slows, the room spins, eyes dilate. Don't forget to breathe either way, I dominate. Say no if you can, no escape from the dark. Step in and I'll pull soul and body apart.
Eyes wide open, baby, fall into trance. Don't hold heavy, lady, trip while you dance. She craves my darkness, a siren's ecstasy. You don't seem the type, crazy I see. It's more than passion, baby, it's a soul tie. For real, I'm in it, lady, till you cry. Be careful what you wish, I'm poison, you'll find. Calling, wavy, drowning my vibe. My venom runs clean through your veins, deep beneath your skin, sharp as the blade. I'm calling for help like Miss Betty's queen. I only know destruction, love's language is bleed. Bo and the beast, my zodiac name. Written in stars, got a demon the same. If I could go back, I'll meet and rewind. I'll tell you my story to erase us from your mind. Eyes wide open, baby, fall into trance. Don't hold back, lady, drip while you dance. She craves my darkness, a siren's ecstasy. You don't seem the type, crazy I see. It's more than passion, baby, it's a soul tie. For real, I'm in it, lady, till you cry. Be careful what you wish, I'm poison, you'll find. Calling, wait, drowning my vibe.
Dragon land, pierce soul, spine starter, orgasmic bow. God merge, curse man, shadows who set his pen. Eyes ain't open, man.
Fall into sense. Don't hold back, lady, trip while you dance. She craves my darkness, a siren's ecstasy. You don't seem the type, crazy I see. It's more than passion, baby, it's a soul tie. For real, I'm in it, lady, till you cry. Be careful what you wish, I'm poison, you'll find. Calling, wait, drowning my vibe.
Honestly, my love and strings deep, soul level divine. Not in the cheap thrills, you're rare, you're fine. Just because I hold it don't mean it's meant to be. Nothing good ever lasts, not for me. I'm not jaded, not bitter, I just know me. I'm the type that breaks what is pure like this. I'm open to continue whatever this is. I won't cling when it ends, I'll just cherish your bliss.
Eyes wide open, baby, fall into trance. Don't